Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by Derek.
Hey, everybody.
We're back discussing Wicked Wicked Games, episodes 46 to 54. We're coming to the end, so I'll roll the credits and we'll jump right into this. So this was crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like first episode out the bat, I was like, what?
Yeah. And I thought it was weird that they did it like at the beginning of the episode as opposed to the end, but we'll talk about it. But yeah.
um, so I guess that we should, just talk about it.
Yeah.
Theo and Taylor are going through Aaron's office looking for some kind of paperwork to use against Blythe.
Hmm.
Aaron catches them. They have a little tussle. Aaron doesn't back down, and Theo basically has to have him by his throat with like scissors, or I don't remember what it was. It was either scissors or a letter opener. It
It
was
was
something sharp.
scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And Blythe storms in, tries to get him to stop, and he won't.
Yeah.
And she says, "You have to because he's your son." And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
You didn't see it coming.
No, honestly, no.
Yeah. I kind of guessed when I first watched it. I was like, wouldn't it be interesting if like he ended up being their father? But I kind of was like, they're probably not going to do it. And then they did it, and I was so surprised.
I think I don't, I think the thought of them having a kid together crossed my mind, but I never thought it was going to be the twins. I
Yeah,
thought maybe she had one and maybe she gave it up.
yeah,
And then I was like trying to work out, well, maybe she's actually the mother of Emma and Brooke. But I was like, that doesn't really make sense unless they make it make
yeah,
sense. So then I just let
right,
it go. So I didn't really see this coming at all.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So she basically says that she was pregnant
hmm,
when he left her.
yeah,
Um, and Aaron says something like, "You had us way after you guys broke up." She's like, "Yeah, 9 months after."
yeah,
So, yeah, that was crazy.
hmm, yeah. And they just keep coming in this set of episodes.
And I kind of like, because I had to like rework the family tree in my brain now.
Yeah,
I kind of had a similar moment, not as dramatic as Aaron, where I was like, "Wait, did he sleep with his sister?" And then I remembered that Theo is not their father.
yeah.
But Aaron does not know that fact, and
No.
he's just like sick to his stomach, having panic attacks, drinking on the beach.
Hmm.
Um, I think before he gets to the beach, he turns Brooke away because he's like disgusted at the thought, and she's like throwing herself at him.
Yeah.
Um, but Emma's the first to find out, which I'm sure Brooke
Hmm.
appreciated. She hates being left out and the last to know. But then through calmly talking about it, she's like, "Oh my god, he thinks that we're brother and sister. I have to go find him."
Yeah. And Emma kind of tells her, like, yeah, you need to go find Aaron.
um, so they kind of did like an Aaron story, I guess.
Yeah, that was it's kind of like a recap episode. Yeah.
But I feel like they did it well. Like I was kind of like
Yeah.
appreciative of it because I was like, "All right, that did happen." Like it was like reminding me of things while other things were
Hmm.
still happening. So I liked how they did that.
Hmm.
And considering that was like episode 47 and we've only had one prior to that, I'll take
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I guess he was gonna kill himself. I'm not really sure.
Well, he was having like anxiety attacks or panic attacks or whatever. When after Theo like attacked him in the office, and then it just continued on as when he found out about Brooke being his sister potentially, but not really his sister that he doesn't know about yet. But he just kept having panic attacks, and was he taking any pills or was he drinking?
I
I
feel
think he
like
was.
he was, because I remember the
Yeah.
pill, like I heard the pills, so I feel
Well,
like
he was
it was
probably
his.
taking a bunch of pills and drinking, and it probably was like messing with his head even more.
Yeah. So he's like on this like rocky point of the beach, and Brooke
Mhm.
sees him, and she runs to him, and he
Mhm.
falls. It looked like he hit his head on the rock
Yeah,
when
he
he
did.
fell. He did.
Mhm.
So she saves him. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm surprised he was able to be conscious, honestly, if he hit his head on a rock.
Yeah.
But she's
Mhm.
able to explain to him that they're not brother and sister.
Right. The ick factor is gone.
um, Edward has become unhinged.
Yeah.
He's unpredictable and violent. Um,
Mhm.
he's not accepting that Emma does not want to be with him. I was actually scared for her. I thought she might die.
Yeah.
There was a few moments I was like, he's gonna kill her.
Yeah, he there were a couple times where he was ready to do it.
um, yeah, when she was like packing and he got rough with her, I was like, yeah. Like that was
Mhm.
the first time I was nervous.
Mhm.
When she was like, I'll come back, I was like, do you think he's gonna let you leave? Because I don't feel like he's gonna let you leave.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was even nervous for Jennifer, honestly, at some points, because he was like almost taking out his rage. Like it was almost like he was trying to make her role play as Emma and then take out his rage on
Yeah,
her.
I'm in her dress, yeah. Mhm.
And I'm surprised she hasn't brought up the fact that he got rough with her that one time, because that was not
Mhm.
okay.
I feel like Jennifer's very, like I don't know why she's, in love with Edward, and I don't know why she's in love with Edward because Edward's such a fucking weirdo loser. So, I don't know what that's all about, but it's like she just doesn't see that he's kinda psychotic and crazy and
I like Jennifer, and I didn't see that coming.
yeah.
And I feel like I shouldn't like her, but I do.
Mhm.
um, yeah, she's just kind of blind when it comes to Edward.
Yeah. Mhm.
She even thinks like, "Oh, now that you and Emma are broken up, now we can have a real relationship." And he's like, "That's never what this was."
Yeah.
Like he's flat. I feel like there's so many times he's just like flat out like, "I don't want to be with you like that," and she's just like, "We can go out to
Mhm.
dinner." She's just like
Yeah.
ignoring it. um. So who else? Lonnie was tied up for most of these episodes still. Um.
Yeah.
So every time I see Lonnie, and I wonder how much time has passed, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I wonder if she had to use the bathroom. That's all I think is when she's tied up.
Yeah, and if she drank enough water, is like, how is she surviving?
Yeah, because I feel like Blythe is like starving her and taunting her with like the glass of water.
And she poured
Um,
lemonade on
the
her.
lemonade. She's like, it's too sweet.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me guess, you're gonna, yeah. It's like some things you can kind of see happening before they happened.
Mhm.
Um, so a woman comes to the tides and she kind of lets herself into Blythe's office while Emma and her are going at it.
Yeah.
And it's Anna,
Yeah.
Emma's mother.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
For me, that's the biggest twist in the entire show. Like, that was crazy. Like, I just never saw that coming in a
I
million
didn't
years.
either because I didn't really. I guess maybe they never really talked about the details of her death. I just thought she was sick, but we later, or at least for me, I found out that it was a boat accident.
Yeah, they did mention in one of the early episodes that she did die in a boating accident.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember
Yeah.
that, or maybe I
Yeah.
didn't hear that part. So I just assumed she was sick and died. So I just never, it never entered my mind that she could be alive. I
Yeah.
feel like I mentioned in previous podcasts that I thought maybe Gavin was alive and maybe he's the bluff,
Yeah. Right.
but
Mhm.
she kind of confirmed that he's dead. So I'm like,
Yeah, she did. Well, he got
so
sick and she came back to the States and took care of him or whatever she said
so
until he
where are
died.
they? They're in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Emma or Brooke. Well, so Brooke comes and she's like, "Oh, you look familiar." Now Brooke probably would have been a baby, so she probably doesn't really
Mhm.
know what her mother looks like. Plus, it's been 23 years.
Well, she probably saw pictures or whatever and was
But
like,
also, yeah, like I feel like if you saw pictures,
yeah,
you'd be like, "You're my mom." Not, "You look familiar. Do I know you?"
right.
um, when Brooke like got all upset and ran out, And Emma was like, "I gotta go find her before she gets worse." I chuckled when Anna was like, "It gets worse." I was like, "Oh, it gets worse."
It
Trust
gets
me.
much worse. And that's exactly how I would expect Brooke to react to
Yeah.
that.
Um, I like Anna.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
feel like she's, but she's very stoic.
Mhm.
I feel because there was a scene with her and Emma when they were at the stables, and
Mhm.
she was like, "I didn't expect to feel this emotional." I'm like, "Are you emotional?" I'm like, "'Cause I don't see tears."
Yeah.
Like, but I
Well,
like
the
her.
the funny
I
thing
like that.
is
Go ahead.
about Anna is she's in the opening credits the whole time, and nobody knows, like, who she's playing or, like, who she is, and then she just shows up.
47 episodes in.
Right?
I wonder if she got paid for her face being in the credits for the first 46 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um, yeah, oh, and we got to see, Cherry again because Cherry found Brooke crying on the beach.
Yeah.
Poor Brooke. She, like, wanted to talk to Aaron about it. She's, like, screaming into his
Mhm.
intercom, like, "I need to
Yeah.
talk to you. Let me in. Let me in." And then, like, a guy walking by is, like, looking at her, and she's like, "What?"
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I like Anna. I like how kinda even-keeled she is and no
Mhm.
nonsense, but when it comes to Blythe, she, like, matches her energy and is
Yeah,
somehow
like, she met her
stronger.
match. Well, one of the things that Maddie said was when she was talking to Em about her mother before she came back was that her mother could be very ruthless and would give Blythe a run for her money.
Right.
Yeah.
That kinda made my antennas go up a little bit, but I didn't then I just, like, moved on. I didn't really think she would be
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
But when she
Right.
walked in, it started to click, and I'm like, "Oh, no. Is this happening?"
Yeah.
And then when she says, "It's my mom," I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Emma becomes like her mom essentially and just starts like demands to see Blythe. And Jennifer was in the office and she saw that she was wearing her watch finally that Josh sent her, and they had a
Yes.
fight.
They actually slapped each other. They like to slap on this show. Blythe
Yes,
likes to
they do.
punch.
Yeah, that was awesome. I enjoyed that scene. And Jennifer's like, "You could have just said please."
Right? I did like Jennifer before that, but that line, I was just like, "Yeah, you're cool. I
Uh-huh.
like you."
Yeah. And then Edward shows up and Emma's like, "Get out of my way. I don't want anything to do with you."
Yeah. Um, so, Theo
Mhm.
goes to wants to talk to Josh because he found out that he's now the boy's, father.
Yeah.
But there's a guard, and he's not really supposed to be seeing him.
Mhm.
But he gets past, and Blythe shows up, and
Yeah.
she's just like, "Call the police. The man that shot my son is." She's so
Yeah.
dramatic. And Josh is just like, "It's fine," and he actually ends up, like, kicking Blythe out and saying that he never wants to see her again.
Yeah. Mhm.
And she's just like, "I'll talk to you soon." She's, like, not accepting it.
She's like, "You don't mean that."
Yeah, but I like how unhinged she is in the camera, and I'm like, I think it's funny that Lonnie's basically sitting right in front of her while she's, like, talking into the camera,
Yeah.
and she's just like, "Ada's not supposed to be alive. She's gonna ruin everything." Because essentially what this means is the in Anna's will, everything, the house, the company went to Theo to watch
Mhm.
over until the girls became a certain age, had a education, and are married, and then it became theirs.
Mhm.
Since she wasn't really dead, that it went into probate, and that doesn't really count. So now
Right.
they're gonna Anna wants to challenge that decision to get all her property back because it wasn't legally won or bought by Blythe.
Yeah.
But Blythe wants obviously wants to contest it and say that too much time has passed and abandonment.
Mhm.
But Anna threatens her, and apparently Blythe was on the boat the night of the accident
Yeah.
and may have caused the accident.
Mhm. It's
Um,
funny because when Anna came back, I was like the thought popped in my head that maybe Blythe like had something to do with her boating accident, and then they confirmed it.
Mhm. So maybe she was supposed to die and then she didn't, and she said she took the opportunity to get away with her lover, which
Hmm.
not a great look, like, you abandon your 2 young children for your lover, not great.
Yeah. Well, she did talk to Maddie at the restaurant about what happened that day with Blythe because they were talking about Hope, and she said brought up the idea that maybe Hope is missing because Blythe did something, and Madeline was like, I never thought of that, and then she told her about the boating accident that night, and that she was drinking, and
Mhm.
she knocked her out, and then she threw her overboard or something.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of Madeline, she meets a man at the hospital whose name happens to be Philippe, which stars her, and immediately I'm like, "Don't trust him," because I always think
Yeah.
everybody's working for Blake.
I'm
I
like,
still
why
don't
does his
know. I
name
mean,
have
there's
to be
only 8
Philippe?
episodes left, so I'm like, what could happen? But, like, a lot happens
Yeah.
on the show, so who knows?
Yeah. Why couldn't his name be like Francois or
Right?
something else or
I did
Jock?
I did like after they were, like, talking for a while,
Yeah.
and he got called in to see the doctor, that
Hmm.
he said he asked for her number, she gave her business card, and then he asked about email, and she's like, "Let's just stick to the phone." She's done with
Yeah.
online dating.
Well, okay, I want to bring this up because I thought it was really funny that Theo didn't want a fraternity test on the boys, and he just said he looked into their eyes and he knew that they were his sons.
I did question that too. I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, obviously you have to have a paternity test," but, there was a line somebody said it, "Well, a paternity test will blow her story up," so I was like, "So we're just not gonna do it?"
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I was surprised. I don't know why I was surprised, but it kinda, like, jarred me that all of a sudden Blythe was now being mean to Brooke because she's kind of always been nice to her.
Hmm.
She originally said, "You'll always have a home, you could stay there," and then when Brooke, like, was asleep on the couch, she was like, "Oh, hungover?" And she's like, "Actually, no." And she's like, "Sure." And she's
Yeah.
like, basically, like, "Be out by tomorrow or by the
Yeah.
end of the day." And I was like, "Well, so much for you always have a home."
Yeah.
Um, so the cop interviews oh, wait, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Edward is basically stalking Emma,
Hmm.
and he walks right into Josh's place.
Hmm.
And this is another time I was afraid. I really thought we're
Hmm.
getting to the end, like anybody could go at any moment. So I thought Emma might not make it.
Yeah.
But Josh comes in and I was like, ooh, you have a bad shoulder. You got shot through your shoulder. You're in a sling and now you're like fist
Hmm.
fighting somebody. I was like, you're not gonna win this fight.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, but he ends up leaving on his own and admitting because Josh has a flash when he hears an alarm go off on his watch.
Yeah.
Um, and he puts 2 and 2 together that it was Edward that shot him, and Edward admits to it.
Mm. Yeah. And they call the cops, and then Edward like leaves on his own.
Yeah. So he's basically in hiding on the run.
Hmm.
Jennifer is questioned, but she doesn't really know what's going on. They don't really give her
Yeah.
details. They just
Hmm.
wanna know, like, how close she is to Edward, and where was he, and when was the last time she saw him.
Yeah. Exactly.
So she calls him after the cop leaves, and she's like, "What's going on?" and leaves him a voicemail. She doesn't
Hmm.
hear back from him, but he shows up at the office, pulls her away, and he's like, "Let's run away together." And he's like, "You always wanted to run away together." She's like, "But like, what's going on?" And he tells her.
Hmm.
Um, but he says it's not true, so he lies to her.
Yeah.
And I liked when they were like going to like leave, and she's like, "Wait, I gotta get my lip gloss." And he's like, "You have 100 lip gloss." She's like, "Yeah, but this one's new."
Yeah. This is why we like Jennifer. She has these little clips that are just really funny.
um, so Vi is getting suspicious of where Lonnie is,
Mhm.
and she gets a note at her job saying, what did it say? Lonnie never left, right?
Yeah, Lonnie's never left, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And there's a key there with
right.
the yeah.
I'm assuming it's this woman that keeps showing up talking about the boss because I didn't really see anybody else. I didn't see her, but I didn't see anybody recognizable in that scene that would have left
Yeah,
her
so
a
she
note.
probably left it there for her.
Yeah. So she ends up going to Blythe's house. Blythe is just, I feel like she's always everywhere all the time.
Mhm.
Like, doesn't she go to work? Stay at work. Stop coming home. But Vi uses the key to get into the house, is looking around, kind of like going, Lonnie, Lonnie, no one's answering.
Mhm.
But then she
Yeah,
hears Blythe and Benjamin outside the door discussing the case as far as like them keeping the company and everything in the house. Um, and Vi like hides in the closet, and she's in there for a
yeah.
while. And I didn't
Mhm.
know what was going to happen here because she gets to hear a lot of their story of like what their
Mhm.
game plan is and what's
Mhm.
gone on so far. And then he goes to get a blanket out of the closet or a coat,
Mhm.
and she just like panics and she tries to run. And I'm like, girl, you're pregnant. I don't know how pregnant you are, but like you're pregnant.
Yeah,
I was like, but I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't expect her to run. I was like, is she just gonna hand him a blanket? Like out of the
right.
closet?
Like, how's this gonna play out?
I was like, is she gonna be like, and he's gonna play along and like let her stay? Like I didn't know how this was gonna go.
Yeah,
But he's like super loyal to Blythe. Um, so
yeah.
he captures Vi and brings her into the secret room where Lonnie is.
Mhm.
And Blythe now has this plan that she's gonna let Lonnie go if she gets a job working for Anna.
Mhm.
And she basically puts a little bit of arsenic in her coffee every day until it builds up enough and kills her in her
Yeah.
system.
Mhm.
Um, I'm jumping around a little bit out of order because this is after the court decision. This
Yeah.
is why she comes up with this. So the court, they meet up twice. The judge, Anna basically blackmailed Blythe into her not saying that they were going to use abandonment as like part of their argument. And the judge kept
Mhm.
saying, "Are you sure you're not going to use abandonment?" And they're like, "Nope." They're like, "We
Yeah.
decided not to."
Yeah.
um, Blythe even like tries to get Edward before the whole cop situation to back her up,
Mhm.
and I guess he wasn't convincing enough because it didn't work.
Yeah.
And the judge ends up awarding 60%
Yeah. 60.
to Anna.
Mhm.
So she now has controlling interest, and she kicked Blythe out of the office.
Mhm. And she has the house too back.
She has the house back, yes. Um, I loved outside the court when she like grabbed Blythe by her hair when she like threatened her. She was like, "What about your two daughters?" And she like grabbed her, and she was just like, "Do you know what a mother does in the wild when her young
Yeah.
is threatened?"
Yeah. That was a good scene.
And I like how Blythe is just like so unhinged and erratic, and she's just like, and then she tries to be like, Anna's the crazy one. She's like, she's crazy.
Yeah.
it's it's so fun. It's so campy and fun to watch. Um, so back to Lonnie. So the deal is she can't say anything about her being tied up or Vi being tied up because if she
Mhm.
does, then Vi will and her baby will die.
Right.
So Blythe gives her a make. Well, she lets her shower and gives her like this nice business suit to go on an interview. And she basically says, just remember, she's like, do as you're
Mhm.
told, or you're going to be wearing that nice business suit to your sister's funeral.
Yeah. And
But
she also said something like, "Oh, either way, at the end of the week, I'm gonna send flowers to a funeral."
yeah. And then when Lonnie's not there, she kind of privately says to Vi, she's like, you know too much. She's like, so I can't
Mhm.
let you go. She's like, so you're really, she's like, you're probably gonna die. Like, there's no way out of this for you.
Yeah. And she's pregnant. Like, oh my God. It's crazy.
So exhausting.
I mean, she's not giving, Blythe is evil. She's not giving a pregnant woman water or food, anything.
Nope. I did crack up when Lonnie was still tied up. Blythe was there, like, going through magazines. She's like, I love these girl days. Like, she's just like just sitting around going through magazines,
Oh, yeah.
gossiping.
I remember that. That's when she was making lemonade, right?
That may have been it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still curious to see if anything happens with these recordings, if they're like her downfall somehow. um so what else happened before we get to the end? Um oh, so Anna doesn't want to instate Theo as president because he lost everything. And he's
Yeah.
trying to like put up the argument that he ran the company for 20 years. Um she's very practical and with business. I liked how
Mhm.
nice she was to Jennifer when she was just like, you don't have to be intimidated by me. She's like, just do your job well, and that's it.
Yeah.
So like she has these moments where I'm like, oh, I really like you, but she's very like
Hmm.
stoic.
Yes, for sure.
um so her and Jennifer are redecorating the office. Jennifer's very happy to get rid of Blythe's stuff. She comes in with boxes, and then Blythe comes in and is like, what the hell are you doing? And
Yeah.
they had a brawl. They like
Oh,
were
yeah.
full on fist fighting, and then at the end of it, none of them looked bruised or anything.
No.
They
TV
just went on as
magic.
business as usual.
Yeah.
It was so good. I was like, wow, they really are playing into this whole dynasty
Hmm.
daytime drama soap opera thing with these
Yeah.
fights. Because everybody just like beats the crap out of each other and then continues on with their day.
Great.
um so Benjamin is at the restaurant by himself,
Hmm.
and that woman that knows about the boss sits with him,
Hmm.
or he sits with her. I don't remember how that
Hmm.
went.
Yeah.
Um, but she mentions the boss. She's very vague as usual. She gives him an
Hmm.
envelope, tells him not to open it there,
Hmm.
and he asks what it is, and she says where the body is. So I'm like, Hope's body, because he knows Hope,
Hmm.
from high school, but he doesn't know that she's dead.
Right. Because earlier, Blythe was talking to Benjamin. Actually, no, Benjamin was confronting Blythe about Hope because he's starting to get suspicious that she has something to do with this disappearance, her disappearance. So,
Right.
um, and then she talks into her like camera later. She's like, "Well, I guess if Benjamin doesn't, cooperate, I'm just gonna have to send him to that big high school reunion in the sky."
Yeah. um so I assumed when Anna was revealed that she was the boss.
I thought I can see that for sure. Yeah.
But then this happened, and I'm like, "Who's the boss?" I still don't know who the boss is.
Well, okay, so this is just like something I'm going to throw out there. It's not necessarily what happens, but maybe the boss is who she's talking to in her blog.
Huh. But why would the boss be against her then? Because
Well, the boss is against her because the boss is undermining her plans.
but she thinks the boss is on her side?
Maybe. Yeah.
Hmm. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Hmm. So she essentially could not have been talking in a third person this whole time, and she was actually talking to somebody?
Possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Anna, I was like, "Oh, okay, Anna's the boss." But then when this
Hmm.
woman showed up, so now I'm like, is Hope not dead? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like that last one makes me think no, he's gonna see Hope's body or find out where it is.
Yeah.
Um, so the only other option I could think of is Gavin.
Yeah.
or Blythe's husband, who whatever his name was, was his name Marshall Spencer?
Marshall. Yeah.
Maybe him.
Yeah.
That's the only two I could think of.
Yeah.
But you know what happens. Did this aired in its entirety, right? Because I know some of the telenovelas towards the end, they kind of stopped airing them and they didn't get to finish
No, it
their
aired
run.
in its entirety.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you saw
Oh
it to
yeah.
the end. Okay.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I think it was Saints and Sinners and American Heiress that got cut off.
Okay.
But
No, I still remember the commercials that the show ends forever on March 6th or something like that.
and forever. With Anna being on the show, it feels
Yeah.
like a different show. Not maybe like a new season. I'm like, I wish she came
It's
on sooner because it's very interesting with her there.
yeah, I do like Anna, and like I said, I thought that was a really good twist.
So we see Lonnie actually put the arsenic in the coffee.
Yeah.
And so at first Lonnie doesn't get the job because she's kind of
Yeah.
like, you worked for Blythe for a really long time. She's like, I don't really have a use for you. I have a secretary. I don't need an assistant.
Hmm.
And so Lonnie's like, fuck, my sister's gonna die. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, what am I gonna do?
So she goes to Tyler. Taylor. I can
Taylor.
never remember which one it
Yeah.
is. Taylor.
Yeah. He does
And
look like a Tyler.
she tells him what happened, and I couldn't tell if she was just genuinely telling him or if she was trying to manipulate him and use his feelings to get,
I
because
would
she's like, don't
think
say
so.
anything, I don't want you to.
It's reverse psychology, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, I just don't like to think as Lonnie is manipulative, but I guess it's life and death, so she has to be.
Yeah,
But
for
I feel
sure.
bad because it's like she can never just be like, have a genuine
Hmm.
open conversation with her love interest. She's always
Yeah,
lying because Blythe is pulling the strings.
exactly. Yeah.
um, yeah, so he ends up getting her basically a front desk job,
Hmm.
which I'm like, isn't that what Jennifer does?
Yeah.
So is she just next to Jennifer?
Or did she like help Jennifer out? Like,
Right? Is she Jennifer's assistant? um, but yeah, so she ends up putting the arsenic in the coffee, and Anna's
hmm.
like, "Oh, I brought coffee from home," and she's like, "Yeah, but it's probably cold. This is a fresh cup."
Right.
And then
That was
Anna's
such a
like,
weird,
It's
awkward
good."
scene too.
But she ends up getting a headache.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess it's starting to kick in.
Hmm.
Um, they kind of have like a repeat conversation because she's at home working, and Theo comes in and she like reiterates that she's not making him president, and he's like, "Yeah, I know you said that already."
Yeah.
Now I don't
He
know if
didn't
that was
really
like,
have like, I'm sorry, he didn't really have like a strong reaction to her coming back. He just kind of like, oh, okay.
yeah, he was very matter of fact about it.
He
Emma
was.
Emma had the most tears,
Yeah.
but her initial reaction was kind of blasé also. Like in the
Yeah.
office, like
Brooke
she
had the strongest reaction, of course.
right. um oh, Brooke and Emma have lunch together and she's like, "Oh, I said the L word." And she's
Hmm.
like, "Oh," she's like, "Really? This soon?" And she's like, "Yeah, but he was like on anxiety medication and drunk, so he probably doesn't remember." And Emma's like, "He remembers." So she's like, "Well, he better."
It's nice to see them getting along for
Right.
once.
Emma had one of her moments prior to all this, like when she was working at the bridal club
Hmm.
and Anna came in, and then Anna saw what she was doing and she's just like, "This is way too expensive." She's like, "Who allowed this?"
Yeah.
And so she basically shuts down Brooke's operation. And
Yeah.
Brooke, she's just like, "Everybody does wants me to fail. Nobody wants me to do anything I want to do."
Yeah. Exactly.
She flip flops a lot. Sometimes I like Brooke, and then I'm just like, "Shh, stop whining." But I do like her and Aaron. I think they're a good
Hmm.
couple. I hope they make it
Hmm.
to the end.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm really nervous that somebody's gonna die out of the the kids. We'll call them.
Yeah. Well, it was so funny. I was reading the synopsis of the original Venezuelan telenovela this is based off of.
Mhm.
There's only one son, and there he's in a love triangle with the two daughters.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
So it's a little different, but yeah. The score when I thought it was really funny when Madeline found out that his name was Philippe. The score was very haunting. I was like, oh, that was one thing I wrote down. I was like, oh, that score is so like haunting and weird.
From the look on her face,
Yeah.
I was expecting her to be like, say something like, "What does Blythe want?" Or like, "You working for Blythe?"
Yeah. You're working for that's exactly what she was probably thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
I was actually kinda happy he wasn't in, like, an episode or 2 after that because 'cause I'm like, "Okay,
Mhm.
maybe he's not working for Blythe." I'm very nervous to trust anybody I don't know because 'cause I'm just like, everybody's working for her.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially after the whole Carmen thing. I don't trust anybody.
Right, right.
Yeah, so once again, I have no idea what's gonna happen because I did not see the mother being alive. I did not see the
Yeah.
paternity switch.
Well, we're gonna find out who the boss is very soon. We only have 8 episodes left, so yeah.
It'll probably be in the first episode.
Nah, it's just near the end.
Oh, it's near the end, okay. Yeah, I guess people will die. At this point, Blythe has to die. I was almost thinking, like, maybe Theo and Blythe will kill each other.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how do you think it's gonna end? What's your theory?
But I think this ends with Blythe being dead, definitely.
Okay, it
But do you have
was.
anything else to add before we wrap this up?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, I think next time we're gonna be finishing this.
Yeah.
This is the first one of those My Network shows I've ever seen to the end.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Mhm.
But all right, well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Wicked Wicked Games. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great week.
Have a
Bye.
great guys. Thanks.